Ashes of Creation has dog shit combat so far. I'm just gonna call it what it is. The combat looks fucking bad. The game looks beautiful. The systems look great. The combat looks like fucking dog shit. Like, the effects look outdated. I am hoping that what this is going to show us, because this is brand new as of 2 weeks ago. This is the Ranger video. Yeah, this is the Ranger video here. I'm hoping that this looks good.
Hey, what up, boys? So, we've just had what...
See, the game looks really good. This looks great. I'm okay with it. If the game came out tomorrow and looked like this, I'd be okay with this.
Looks like, in my opinion, one of the best Ranger classes in the mmorpg genre, rivaled only by probably Black Desert Online's Archer. And today, I want to give...
Wait, he didn't even say Ranger. He said Archer. Rangers are down bad, guys. You guys are down tremendous. And he said rivaled by, I'm going to tell you right now, just by the first few seconds of combat, there's no rival. Black Desert's combat looks cleanly better. What is going to kill or make Ashes of Creation is if they can make the combat competitive with BDO. If they can make the combat competitive with BDO, the graphics are there, the systems are there, there's like changing seasons and stuff, like all of that stuff looks great and everything, but if the combat doesn't feel good, none of us are going to want to play it for an extended period of time. So like, we're all hoping that this combat looks better, but like this is
Black Desert Online's Archer, and today I want to give you guys my thoughts about it and provide the smallest amount of
What's up, Kandaya?
feedback. But before we get into that, our beautiful patrons and coped out the wazoo Twitch subs and I would love for you to grab yourself a Coca-Cola, because ultimately
I like this guy. You know, my favorite thing about him is that he's got all these fucking pizza boxes and like degenerate. Look at this degenerate look he's got on his fucking face. I like that shit. Guys, for those of you that don't know Kandaya, he does YouTube and Twitch just like I do. You guys should go check him out. He releases videos like every single day. It's awesome.
grab yourself a Coca-Cola, because ultimately I was very pleased with what was shown, and my feedback is, once again, small nitpicks that don't really matter, but I'm going to provide them anyway because that's pretty much what this channel does. Now,
this looks okay. The patch notes are not out yet. No, this looks okay. You know, being able to jump over. I mean, this part, like, you can see he's like jumping over the top of the mushroom. I think that's pretty cool.
But I'm going to provide them anyway because that's pretty.
Look, like this right here shows you can interact with the mobs and like try to get behind them and do like
what this channel,
you know, like do like some cool stuff.
Does. Now, with all that bollocks out of the way, let's begin.
But it still looks really slow.
Shall we?
What is 218 days to go? Wait, until what? Some feedback by the dented one.
So to start with, I'll discuss the Ranger archetype mechanic first, because I think this was probably
until Alpha 2? They haven't announced the date, I don't think, for Alpha 2 yet, but it is coming in 2024. Copium.
The weakest part of the whole showcase. Rangers use a mix of marks and hunts, which...
Okay. This is an interesting way to do your combat skill tree. I like the way BDO does it, but like this is more traditional. I don't mind it. What I don't, I'm just like first glances. So you can go this way and come down here. These are not connected. This bottom tree is not connected, so it looks like you get this either way. So you can go this way or you can go this way. But like, no, because these are connected still. So like, I don't understand. I guess there is no like skill tree. It's just, you're just skilling into stuff as you get it.
Okay, Rangers use
it does look clean. It looks, and by clean, if by clean you mean it looks like the mastery tree from 2014 in League of Legends, then yes, it looks clean.
Of marks and hunts, which debuff the target and buff the ranger respectively, using different animal themes based on what they do, and have beautiful spell effects to go with them. As it currently stands, the ranger isn't limited to just 3 animals. There are more to come in the future, as explained by the developers.
So unlike marks, which are debuffs on the target, hunts are different buffs you can put on yourself. They're both themed pretty similarly. At first we had started with linking these two concepts directly, like you would put the hunt on yourself and then
okay, so ranger is definitely more of the traditional like Aragorn take on ranger. So like from Lord of the Rings, so like you're like actually hunting stuff in the wilds and you've got like these different In this case, they have different like beast forms that you can like aspect of the eagle or aspect of the tiger or of the bear or whatever. Like, okay, all right, that's pretty cool.
Shoot that hunt out as
We don't get that aspect in BDO.
a mark and infuse the target with that, but we ended up kind of separating them just to make them a little bit more.
This is different than the BDO take on Ranger, which is the super thick elven female with a bow, and she is a Ranger because she shoots a bow.
Independently and freely usable, but the theming you can see is the same. We've chosen the tiger, bear, and raven animals, but they're, stay tuned for more.
In addition to this, there is no proper ranger-specific resource cost or mechanic attached to marks and hunts, because again, as stated by the developers, the mechanic isn't fully integrated yet.
Tank has resolve, cleric has divine power. What does ranger have?
It is the interaction between the hunts and the marks. That is something that we're going to be focusing in on a little bit more. Right now, that is
that was cool. Did you see how he jumped off the... Okay, so this is promising.
Something that we're going to be focusing.
Watch how he jumps off the side of the... Yeah.
More. Right now.
That's pretty cool. The fact that you can interact with the environment like that might make PvP... Things like that make PvP much more engaging.
Now, that is still something that the combat...
It's super cool for 2014. It's in alpha, bro. We need this.
Team is working on for the ranger class.
We tried to speculate a little bit on stream about...
It is a goofy-ass walking animation.
Ranger class.
I'll be honest, it doesn't help that they've got this
right now.
They've got this clobber knocking fucking Frodo looking feet. You know what I mean? Motherfucker looks like a hobbit.
That is still something that the combat team is working on for the ranger class.
We tried to speculate a little...
Oh, look how big those fucking feet are, bro.
Bit on stream about how the class mechanic would work, and we came up with something interesting that I think you'll enjoy. Here's how I think the ranger mechanic should work. Outside of combat, hunts are always unusable right off the bat. In order to enable the use of hunts, the ranger must begin by placing a mark on their target. This becomes the ranger's primary focus and basically
like Kindred
initiates its burst window, as the mark itself does the usual debuff type effects previously stated, and all marks still retain their shared 30-second cooldowns. However, as the...
Yeah, a lot like Nidalee and Kindred, right.
Ranger deals damage to their marked target, a new resource bar known as Instinct begins to fill up from 1 to 100. At any point during this burst window, the hunts are able to be activated, providing powerful effects to the Ranger's overall output. However, the limitation of these hunts are twofold. The hunts must be activated before the mark debuff falls.
This is anyone else entranced by this going on right here? This is like some cavemen drawing shit, but it looks really good.
Off their target, forcing a full reset and allowing interesting counterplay from certain classes. And, arguably more importantly, the hunt's duration is based off of how much the ranger has filled their instinct bar. So, if the ranger does a full burst with all cooldowns the moment the mark is active, fills their bar up to full, the ranger can enjoy the full duration effects of their hunt buffs. If some clutch situation happens, and the ranger needs to activate that hunt early, they will have a shorter duration to play with, but that's better than not having a hunt at all. This type of mechanic can be enhanced.
Okay. Again, I like this take on Ranger. I'm going to be honest. It's primitive for sure in terms of like its development stage, but I like how this Ranger is playing out. I like that it's not just, it has a bow. It is a Ranger. You know what I mean? I like this like aspect of the different animals that they're bringing into it. As far as the hunt bar goes and like making sure that you mark your target ahead of time and then you get more... Like, you get more hunt effects for longer for, like, hitting your opponent with skills while they're marked. I don't know. That's going to depend on damage and stuff. If that's the way they want to go with it. It definitely makes it engaging. And, like, it gives a super fun, like, I don't know, sort of depth to the class. But there's a lot of ways that could be done poorly.
Through a plethora of ways in the skill trees or augments, giving certain hunts powerful movement speed buffs to catch up with their...
My biggest thing here is that the Ranger is going to pick the best hunt, and that's the one that they're going to stay in, right? If Bear is objectively better than Eagle, than Wolf, than whatever, than Tiger, than whatever, they're never going to go use the other aspects. That's the biggest problem with it, like with doing it like this.
Prey defensive buffs that confer the benefits of a bear's defensive hide, significantly increase their sustained DPS.
Oh, min-maxers are gonna min-max. No, not necessarily. This is just like you don't have to be a min-maxer to want to be able to do damage on your class.
Or even turn them into raging beasts that destroy all in its range for a short period of
All
time.
right, show
I think
me.
the goal should always be the more fun the mechanic is, the better. Which
True.
leads me into my next talking point. There's a lot of critique flying around about the speed at which rangers use their short bow attacks, and
That's what it looks slow to me. Like them moving around and doing like backflips and stuff. This looks like we're in like half speed. You know what I mean? It looks slow.
I'm gonna be honest with you, lads. This obsession with realism is really starting to piss me off. It started with the nighttime changes, which, in my opinion, make the game look unplayably awful at night. I saw it in my comment section when people were trying to tell me that the tree...
Wait, that's the game at night? Wait, this is all just black over here. Wait, you actually just can't fucking see anything, bro. This is literally unplayable, and everyone will turn the gamma up. That's exactly what I would do. I would be like, okay, this is not immersion, bro. You're gonna make me change my settings every time it's night? That's rough.
At night, I saw it in my comment section when people were trying to tell me that the tree falling mechanics are good because they're realistic, when they're clearly not. The trees are made of rubber and the whole
No, I thought that... Okay, I like the tree falling animation. Call me crazy, I think that's cool. When you chop down a tree and it just falls over and then disappears after, I think that's cooler than just having the tree like disappear. I don't know. It's not necessarily realistic per se. It's a fantasy game, bro. It can't be totally realistic, but it's something. I like it.
needs a rework, obviously. And I'm also seeing it with the reaction to the short bow attacks, saying it's not realistic enough.
I don't mind how quickly the animation is moving from point A to point B. I do mind how slowly the ranger is moving around. Like when she does her backflips and stuff, that's meh.
This is a fucking video game, mates. With orcs and elves and magic, why are we obsessed with realism? The reason the short bow shoots so fast is for gameplay and build differences compared to their alternate weapon, the longbow, which functions in the complete opposite way. That gives us a gameplay choice. Do you want to make a build designed for powerful but...
Did you guys see that shit? Bro, that shit just slid like an archer. Watch this shit. Watch this dude slide. Hold up.
Choice. Do you want to make a build designed...
What the... Bro! That dude... Bro, they actually copy-pasted that from Archer.
Build designed
like on
for
God.
Powerful but slow instant burst, or do you want to build for more sustained proc type damage? It's actually quite annoying that people, and by people I mean backseat game developers, have forgotten what basic game design is. It's to make things fun, not to simulate real life. We deal with enough real life bullshit when it comes to work and paying taxes. Oh wait, you pay taxes in Ashes of Creation too. It doesn't matter. This is an issue that comes down.
Well, you do want it to be like real life in certain aspects of the game. I understand what he's saying, but also there's an aspect of the game that I want to be able to relate to, right? And most of this comes down to the environment. The environment that I'm standing in, I should be able to relate to this, right? If I'm standing in a winter area like this, all right, I don't want to see a field of flowers here, right? Now, that's an extreme example. But, like, there needs to be, like, a sense of realism or a reason that there might be flowers in this field from a fantasy sense if you're going to put them there. Like, from an ecology standpoint, I really do want my game to be realistic. When it comes to the habitats of the creatures that are in, Monster Hunter World really nails this, right? Monster Hunter World, you can tell where the monster is going to be based on what it looks like, how it behaves, and you can be like, oh, okay, it's down by the river, or, oh, it's going to be up in the mountains, right? Like it's because it's all, you know, it's all rocky and stuff. Like I like that aspect of it. So it does need to be realistic in that case. When it comes to my character's abilities though, I would agree with him. I think that he's kind of spitting. I don't mind it looking necessarily unrealistic if the arrow wants to move way faster than real life. I agree with that, because if it moved at the same speed as real life, people could just step behind a wall, right? If you shot someone that was really close to this wall here and then they step behind the wall, the arrow is going to curve and then smoke the side of the wall. And that's just really annoying and unfun to deal with.
Down to the developers themselves. Open development is of course going to be mired with extremely diverse amounts of feedback, and for some games, that might end up with a very poorly made product. Kind of like current year Blizzard designing world
Yeah, so like the game looks beautiful. I am very concerned with the combat
of
in
Warcraft
Ashes.
to appeal to the laziest denominator, because guess what? People will always want the path of least resistance, and that's not always the best choice for a game, especially an MMORPG. However,
Furries are up huge, man. Cat enjoyers are up tremendous.
Intrepid, and Steven specifically, have shown time and time again that their vision is unwavering, and the devs that they have on their team are talented enough to understand what bad feedback
What about the femboys? Well, I mean, there was Archer, right? We saw that earlier.
is. Personally, I think they did
There it
miss
is,
the
right
mark a little bit with the nighttime changes, but that's just my opinion.
Literally a black void.
At the end of the day, we are not
True.
helping them design this game. We're just giving them confirmation that they're still on the right path.
Honestly, we are giving them help designing the game, because that's what feedback is you're helping them, right? And honestly, maybe it's a hot take. I think Ashes of Creation almost takes too much feedback from the player base. I feel like it's going to take development so long for this game because they're taking so much player feedback overall. Like, it's just, at a certain point, man, you just got to design the game the way that you want to design the game.
And the Ranger is definitely on the right path. Not only with its initial gameplay
Again, like, look, she's...
class design, but the animations are absolutely
That's pretty cool. That's a really cool animation. That actually looks really good. I feel like it's a little slow, but
top-notch as well.
like, look how slowly.
So, my feedback is, do not waver from the current path that you're on. Only very minor tweaks would improve your current design. We have faith in you, because the game is finally starting.
Again, the movement through the world, she's just jogging around with her hobbit feet, you know what I mean? And it's just slow. The animations look slow.
To look like it's going to surpass Black Desert Online. And I cannot
Get the fuck out of here. Hold up. No shot.
would improve your current design. We have faith in you, because the game is finally starting to look like it's going to surpass Black Desert Online. And I can't
This dude is huffing some fucking copium. If you think that this that we're seeing right here, this little jumpy animation, is anywhere fucking remotely close to a single class in BDO. Some industrial strength copium. Look, he's not wrong. It's on the right track. But to say that if we stay on this track, that it's gonna pass BDO is a stretch. Just by how the character is jumping off the walls and how it's moving through the world, I would say that there's probably a ceiling on how high they can go with stuff like this and how interactive the combat can actually get. I hope I'm wrong, but like, I think it's a bit of a stretch to say that this Ranger is going to be able to do all of the things that Scholar can do.
cannot wait to see what you have in store for the Mage update next month, but more importantly, an updated melee class. But
Look how it soars through the air. That's really cool. Now think about Lon and tell me that that's going to compete with that.
But as usual, I am just one nerd, desperate for a good MMO. And
Desperate
hey,
is a
I just
good
want
word.
to wish everyone a Merry Christmas, and I've got plenty of videos planned leading us into 2024 as we begin our long journey, waiting for that Q3 release of Alpha 2. This year has been a bit of a struggle for me, but we're still going strong, and Ashes of Creation is genuinely starting to look AAA in quality.
Is it? I'm on the fence with this game. Like, I love Ashes. I'm absolutely gonna play it. But like, also, I don't love Ashes. It doesn't look great. You know what I mean? I would look at this and I'd be like, yeah, I'll play it for a few weeks. Right? Like, this doesn't look like some of the systems look great. The world looks beautiful in some areas, but like, the combat in the gameplay looks so stale to me. Like, they really, really still look underwhelming, even in Alpha 2. And the next, like, stage of the game is Beta. Like, between now and, like, Beta, do you think it's gonna increase, like, to where Black Desert is in combat? I don't think so. And the world looks about the same as BDO does to me. Maybe it looks better at some points. I would
What
say in
Roblox version is this?
I would say in a lot of cases, like here, this looks worse than BDO. For sure, right? The graphics, the HP bars, like the text, like, I don't know, it looks like kind of jumbled and stuff. Like, this looks like this is going to be a nitpicky thing. But the HP bars with like the certain text that they're using here and like the colors, it looks like it's from World of Warcraft in 2006. Or it looks like, it reminds me of really old UIs, right? It reminds me of like the really old BDO health bar, like ESO health. But yeah, it's a good, yeah. Like it really, like really old stuff. And so like, I feel like the game has such a long way to go before it's actually going to be playable. And we're in alpha, we're going to be in alpha 2 in Q3. Okay. And the game looks like this. Now, sometimes the game looks beautiful. It looks better than BDO sometimes when they showcase it. And sometimes it looks worse than BDO like we see here. But like overall, I think it's probably going to be about the same-ish looking graphics as Black Desert's remastered format. So graphics set aside, you look over at combat. That's the reason that everybody else plays BDO, right? The combat is just super fluid and engaging. The combat is not even remotely close to where Black Desert is. I don't think that they're going to get there in time. I think that it could be like a decent tab target, like hybrid tab target system. But like, I don't know, man. Just from how the characters are moving through the world and how slowly things are moving, and like where the UI, like the UI will obviously improve hopefully as the game comes out, but I really think you're reaching if you think that it's going to reach
Still
BDO.
don't know why any new MMO still uses hotbar tab target combat. It's awful.
New MMO uses hotbar tab target. Well, it's easier. You need to understand that Tiblol, thanks for the Prime sub, buddy. I really appreciate that. Thank you. You need to understand that I do think that like tab target is better for most of the MMO player base. We're boomers, okay? Let's be honest, we're not 16 years old anymore. All right? Like the most of us are getting older. A lot of us are in our 30s, later 20s, etc. Like we want an easier combat system that is still engaging, but not too difficult that we think that the Zoomers are just gonna like, you know, go crazy with it, you know, because then it's just too hard for us. Let's be honest. But I will say that, like, no, I don't want to just press 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Somewhere between this system and Scholar is ideal. Okay. Scholar in BDO is like the new class, and like its APM overall is on the low end of APO or APM in the BDO like class system, right? It's like on the really low end. So like a low end BDO class, that's kind of where you want to hit it, right? It's got enough skill depth and like skill ceiling on the class that like players still feel engaged playing it for thousands of hours, but it's not hard enough so as to drive new players away from your game. It's a striking balance, right? You don't want your classes to be like Ninja. I hate to be this guy, but if the class is too complicated, like Ninja, like Warrior, people don't want to play your game. It is what it is. You got to simplify it. You got to bring it down. Part of the reason League of Legends was far more successful than Dota is because the game was just easier to wrap your head around. It still maintained a really high skill ceiling, but took all the unnecessary like fluff out of the game. Some people still like Dota's complexity, but a much smaller amount of players like Dota over League of Legends. It is what it is, right? Dota is intense. It is. StarCraft 2 died because it's just too hard. The game is too fucking hard to understand. You can't just pick up StarCraft 2 and understand what the hell is going on. Like you have to like play it for thousands of hours and like ingrain the different units into your soul and understand like how they interact with each other. It's a hard game. It's a hard game. That's why RTSs aren't very successful nowadays. It is what it is. PSOT NGS combat was so fun. I wish the rest of the game was better. Fair enough. Blade and Soul had potential to become bigger than BDO, and CSoft just killed it. There's a lot of reasons Blade and Soul didn't fail. It's a successful game. It's just that BDO kind of holds like it's the bar. BDO is the bar for graphics and combat in an MMO. If an MMO could match BDO's combat, at least its combat. Some MMOs have matched its graphics. Like New World's graphics are pretty fucking good. But like, so the graphics, I feel like other games have kind of caught up to, but I still think that the action combat that you find in BDO is just still cleanly above any other MMO that we see out there, sadly. I don't feel like Ashes of Creation looks like it's going to hit that level. It will be a fun game. I am going to play it when it comes out. I just do not feel like it's going to quite hit what we're all kind of hoping for in an MMO. Go give this guy some comments, likes. Make sure you subscribe to his channel. I absolutely love his videos. And thank God he's showing us the gameplay, because like some of the rest of us didn't actually get to see it.